Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah. So we are so excited today because it's another week, another church bulletin podcast episode for the 14th.
24th.
Oh, I was going to go 24th. Yeah, you're right. 15th, 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time. But today is Erika's debut appearance. We're so happy that you're here. She's been sitting right there for like the last few episodes, just taking it in and
There, huh?
literally, I'm pointing to where she sat, right there. Like, that's what's funny. So I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week, I was like complimenting her, and she's literally like, I was like, hi. But anyway, here she is. So Erika, for those who don't know you yet, which I can't wait for you to, she's awesome. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what you're doing, all the good things.
Okay. I'm from Colombia, so I came here 2 years ago to learn English, and I finished my master's just like 3 months ago, I think so. And yeah, now I am helping here with the faith formation.
Well, congratulations on finishing your master's. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So she is our new director of faith formation. Very excited to have you. Has it been 2 weeks now or 3 weeks since you started?
I think that 3 weeks.
She's in the beginning of her 4th week.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Okay.
happens when you do payroll? You kind of know how long
You
people
know
are
exactly. Sarah knows everything. Like, I think the new fun.
But you know what though? Like, so her title is technically DRE, but we don't want to say religious education so much in the world. We want to say, so to be a DFF, that doesn't sound right.
No, we need to come up with a new thing. She's just Erika.
Just Erika.
Erika, just talk to Erika. She's awesome. No, we got to go and spend a day. Erika and myself and Father Luke was there, and a couple of other people from San Esteban. We got to go spend the day at the diocese for they hosted, a life team training called Empowered and we got to spend the day together, and it was really good. So I'm really excited for the faith formation stuff to start in a month. We'll talk more about that as we get into the bulletin. But yeah, so this cover, we always talk about the cover. I don't know, what does this do for you? It just reminds me of Minnesota. Everything does. I know.
I love, oh my goodness. I actually love water
I love
and like
this picture,
peaceful
yeah.
moments like that. Water always still is like calming. So yeah.
I don't know. I love there's just something about like this, something that especially we can relate to here in Erie with, Presque Isle and the Bay and everything. It's interesting how like sometimes I think God is so generous with the nature that we have here because you don't really know where to look. Like at a sunset, it's like the sky is beautiful, but then the water changes color. It's just overwhelming goodness.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that people in Erie don't know how they are about the beautiful sunsets that they have, because
That's true.
Erie sunsets are magic, like are beautiful, are the best part of
They're
Erie.
top 10 in the whole world, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I first moved here about 10 years ago, actually almost exactly to the day, I used to go watch the sunset at Presque Isle like literally every day. Like for the first year that I was here, I was like, if I wasn't doing anything, I was in the car driving down just to watch it. And over the years, I guess it's just one of those things where you're so close to it, you don't really think about it. Like you said, don't realize just how blessed and how lucky we are. So, so get out there, and especially in the fall. The fall sunsets are gorgeous.
It's because we always like come around to so many issues with Erie that we
Really,
all end up having, and we forget about the calmness and the beauty that's out there that God has provided for us. So yeah,
we were just talking about that. We had a little outing as a staff
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. We went out on the lake with somebody. Graciously allowed us to take a ride there, and we were looking at the bayfront, from out in the bay, and it's such a beautiful downtown area. Like, I mean, just looking at it, you don't really think about it. I think I made the joke like, "Yep, you get close," and oh boy, but yeah, it's so. Anyway, take a look at the bulletin cover, and I loved the because we have the bilingual, we have it in Spanish and in English, but just this question that Jesus poses, who do you say that I am? And it's really interesting to have that question imposed over something so beautiful, because I think we always think about God in our relation to our circumstances, like I'm struggling, God is, or or I'm this or that, and God is. Whereas to just look at it kind of like step away from yourself and just be like, look at beauty, and then think about God. That's like Bishop Barron's thing, and he talks about that a lot. Which you can find his stuff on Flocknote, on the Word on Fire Engaged. Turning the page. Erika's information has now been in the bulletin a couple of weeks with all of ours, so get to know that page because, and maybe save it. I would encourage you because over the next few weeks we're going to be changing the number of pages that are in the bulletin as we switch bulletin companies. So there may be some weeks where the contact page is not in there every single time. So I just encourage you with this bulletin forward, if you see it, maybe just keep it or cut the page out, stick it to your refrigerator. That way, if it's not in there and you need us, you know where to find us.
It's always on the website too, stjude.church. And it's St. Jude is spelled out. It's not ST, it's SAINTJUDE .church.
I think we should come up with like a little song jingle or something,
Next week.
All right, sounds good.
Also, it'll be our intro.
Yeah, let's work on it.
Okay.
The Mass times will officially now be changed to the new Mass schedule, which is it's the same 4:30 and 7:30, but now instead of 7:15 over at St. Andrew Church, our secondary parish church, it's going to be 9:15. So if you come to Mass at 7:15 over at St. Andrews, no one will be there. So be sure to come at 9:15 if you're going to attend that Mass. I think that's everything for this.
Yes.
Unless I'm missing something. Very cool. I actually wrote none of the family reflection. This all came from the Magnificat, resource.
Thank goodness for that subscription.
It really is. It really is a beautiful thing. But what's funny is it really actually spoke to me, but it reminded me of my childhood because I know I might come off as loud and confident, but I'm actually not at all. Well, I am loud, but not confident. But this whole thing about like making mistakes and just persevering, and then I just was like, as I was thinking about it, I was like, where do we kind of get this, ability to continue on? Like, what do we ask God for? And I was reminded of a prayer. It was on my wall in my bedroom. My mom hung it up there growing up, from this prayer from St. John Henry Newman. So give that prayer a try. It always helped me. It still does, and it's like, how do I live? How do I go about things? So it's a good way to do it. So check that out.
And we'll switch over like we normally do at this point to the Children's Bulletin that goes with our Together as Family. So the Children's Bulletin on the cover has Jesus encountering the apostles that he asked, who do you say I am, or who people say I am. Both those questions I think are posed in the gospel. And then on the inside is the calling of St. Matthew. His feast day is Saturday the 14th. Well, it's actually the 21st. Obviously, I got his feast day wrong, but anyway, it's coming up. Whatever.
It's okay.
So it's fine.
Be aware
it works with it works with this week too. With Matthew's calling and taking up your cross and your vocation. So, but he had to hear a calling. I mean, he was a tax accountant, and he went against Jewish teaching, really, truthfully, and went against his people that way. And there's a liturgy link on the back about how many crosses and crucifixes do you see in church. And then we'll go back to the Children's Bulletin here in a couple of pages, more of the bulletin, because they go together that way too. So the Children's Bulletin has a variety of things in it this week. So
a lot of partnership. Very exciting. Speaking of partnership, we had a wedding. Congratulations.
Nick and Erika.
Every once in a while I get a transition really good. There we go. I got lucky that time. But congratulations to Nick and Erika Brewer. Just a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. Thank you for your witness, to love, and it's beautiful. So thank you. Also, it wasn't a typo because I looked, it is in there. The text box cut off the end of poor Marion Bergamasco. So it's Bergamasco. There is an O at the end, so it's not Bergamasco, but she passed away not too long ago, and we will be celebrating her life tomorrow as we're filming this podcast, but by this weekend it will be this past week. So please keep her and her family in your prayers. I got to meet with them today, and everyone feels loss, but every once in a while you meet a family that's really tight and love each other very, very much. So this family is they're excited, for her being reunited with her husband in heaven, but also of course devastated. So please keep them in your prayers. They're a beautiful, beautiful family, and we love them. So shout out to them. If you need anything, prayers for the sick or to walk with you through this process, or if you want to prepare for a funeral in advance, give us a call. We're here for you through the whole thing. So just know that as we go forward. There's a lot happening this Sunday. There's a lot going on.
I think that we said that in the announcements too. It was kind of fun.
We did. It was like,
So we had to start with, of our second collection, because this is the month where we collect money for our Catholic education. So that's on here on this page. Half of the money collected, though, this weekend stays here at St. Jude. So that helps us specifically with faith formation. So it's not just Catholic education across the parking lot in the school. It's here. Well, it'll be at the school, but it's with our kids, our parish kids that don't go to a Catholic school. So, think of that too, how much you can give to help the families in need with tuition, or, to provide snacks and books and all the other fun stuff that we do here with Faith Formation.
Absolutely. So there's a nice graph. It was in last week, but you can see it all. And this Sunday is Back to Church Sunday. So
National Back to Church Sunday.
So if you're on that web page and all that stuff, so for people who are looking for a place to go to church this weekend, are both San Esteban and St. Jude's are on the map to know that people are welcome here. It's a church that is intentionally being welcoming this weekend. We're always welcoming, but now we're even more so, I guess. So please bring a friend to Mass this weekend. It's I think Father said this in his homily this past Sunday at the 10:30 Mass, actually. But imagine going to Mass for the first time. Like if you didn't grow up Catholic, if you'd never seen a Catholic Mass, and a lot of people have not, walking into a Catholic church and going to Mass, it would be the most confusing thing. It's like, okay, people are, touching them. Okay, now we're sitting, now we're standing, now we're kneeling. What's happening? The priest is wearing robes. Like, what's going on? So come with and help them be comfortable. But then also, don't be afraid if they have questions that you can't answer. We'll be around. Feel free to ask. We both our pastor and parochial vicar are teachers. They love to answer questions.
And just remember, new people are trying to find a home right now.
Absolutely.
And as Father Ross has said, and we've talked about, be welcoming to the families. Children don't always sit still. Father Ross wants them in Mass, in the sanctuary with us, not in a room off to the side. They are here, and families come in all shapes and sizes and in varieties. And we have to remember, when we welcome our neighbor, we have to welcome everybody and with open hearts. So just think of that. Like I've always said, I enjoy so much when Tim brings his son here to set up for Mass on Thursday afternoons. He like Tim has said, he is autistic, but he stands in front of the tabernacle. He jumps in front of the tabernacle. That joy for Jesus that's the way he portrays it, and there's nothing as beautiful as that. I mean, it's so simple.
Well, and a witness to it too. Like, you saw him this past weekend. We were getting ready for the weekend, and I ran out of time. I had to run him over to school.
He was so mad.
He wanted to go. He wanted to go into the church, and I had told him, Carl, we'll go in, but we just ran out of time. We didn't get to go. He was furious. Like, and he wasn't he wasn't crying like sad. Like, he was like, Carl does this guttural yell when he's angry. It's like, but really, really loud. And he was doing it the whole, he was so when we came back later that day, I'm like, we're going in. He was so happy. Yeah. So there was
just remember that.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. Like I said, kids are noisy, and that's okay. Jesus said, let the kids come to me. So.
And if you decide that as a parishioner, you would like to move to a different part of the church,
the front is open.
Absolutely. The front is wide open. There are no kids up there. And because that's totally understandable. Like we're not saying you have to sit right next to a kid and hold them, but if you do decide to move, smile. the one thing I will say this as a young adult parent, the one thing that you dread the most is that look of your child annoys me. Like
Right.
and sometimes you do your best and there's nothing you can do. So if you do decide to move, don't give that glare or that eye contact. Just smile and move. That's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, the front is wide open. We don't have to all sit in the back. So head on up front, and it's nice and quiet up there.
It is. Yeah. Just remember, we were all children once, and somebody brought us to church, and we stayed with it. So make it a positive experience so those children want to come back and enjoy church and enjoy being in the presence of Christ. So,
well said. All right. So this is exciting. It's back to church. It's the Catholic Education Collection weekend, but it's also the kickoff to Hispanic Heritage Month. And I love the stuff you got together to put in both the regular bulletin and the children's bulletin, Erika. So why don't you could you walk us through those things?
Yeah, like we were talking about the Hispanic Heritage Month, and we can talk about the traditions, the Catholic traditions, and Catholic important people in our countries. And it was a good idea to start talking about Pope Francis, because he's the first Pope from the Americas, but especially from Latin America, because Pope Francis is from Argentina. So we have something in the kids' bulletin and something in the regular bulletin. And yeah, like there are fun facts that I love. Like my favorite one is that he loves soccer, and he is fan of one team in Argentina that is the San Lorenzo. But I don't know if you heard about that he promised to the Virgin Mary, like, I don't know, 30 years ago or 25 years ago, no watch television anymore. So he doesn't watch the games for his team, but he knows how is his team doing always. So
I think my favorite thing I've ever seen of Pope Francis was actually when it was so Pope Francis was newly elected to be Pope, and Pope Benedict was still very much around. And Germany and Argentina played each other in the World Cup final. Or maybe it was the semifinal, I don't remember. But either way, there was this great picture of the two popes praying next to each other. And above their heads, someone put thought bubbles with each of their flags, and they're both just, it's like, I wonder. It was hilarious. It's probably one of my favorite things I think I've ever seen on the internet.
And one of the last things also, if you've ever seen Pope Francis in action, and a child approaches him while he's on the altar or wherever, he loves every minute of that. So we'll circle back to those children in church, but the Pope, as the leader in the church right now, honestly, those kids come up to him and he has them stand with him, pray with him. There's nothing beautiful.
He's so pastoral and just loving. It's great. Something interesting to note. So every week in the bulletin, correct me if I'm wrong, Erika, but you'll have a different country's tradition. And different things. So there's tons of fun facts in here. I learned a bunch from reading these two things. But something that you mentioned to me that I don't think about enough, just because I've never actually been to South America. But like the fact that it is a whole bunch of different countries, a whole bunch of different traditions. So it really is kind of neat. Like it goes beyond just like, oh, let's just learn about one culture. And it's a bunch of cultures, which I'm really excited for the next month. So please read the bulletin because it's good stuff.
And it's impossible to talk about every country because we have more than 20 countries that the official language is Spanish in the world.
Okay.
But we will talk about some of them, like 3 or 4. And because, for the colonization process, Catholic Church is super important in our countries, and it's beautiful, all of that traditions that we have.
So pay attention to those things. If you want to learn about some of the other countries, I have learned more from Erika in the last 3 weeks than I have probably in my whole life about some of this stuff. So you can nod. You've taught me a lot of stuff, so I appreciate it. My favorite thing you talked to me about was what was the game?
Tejo.
Tejo? Yeah, so look it up on YouTube. Teo, it's from your country. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, imagine if as Americans we love to play horseshoes, right? Imagine if the steak exploded. It's awesome. I was like, we need to bring this game to St. Jude's. And I'm serious. It's gonna happen eventually. So maybe next year at this time we'll have a Tejo tournament because I got a thumbs up. So I'm pumped. It's gonna be awesome.
Of the podcast studio
Wants this game. He's like, yes, explosives and Tim. Let's do that. Okay. So this is kind of an interesting diagram that Father Ross put together.
Yeah, for last week at the open house and the parish picnic, he put together this wonderful spreadsheet about how we're revealing Jesus, what you're doing, all the stuff that you can do to find on the website. Yeah.
If you're into sports, I actually put this on the front of the bulletin, what you can find, and then I changed it because Father Ross is like, no, that's too sports talky. I was like, okay. But it really is kind of a game plan. If you want to be like, okay, like we always see on all of our walls and stuff, revealing Jesus. Well, this is how you do it, like for real. Like it's actually really helpful. So, and then this is exciting. We have a sort of a 2 column, I don't know how you would describe it, description of a couple of events that are coming up for OCIA. And then also we're doing a pulpit. What's it called?
Pulpit exchange.
Pulpit exchange.
We kind of mentioned this in the announcements this past week, but all are invited to both. So not just 10:30 Mass here, but also on the 20th to go to the Jewish temple for their service to hear Father Ross speak about, I think, Jesus.
Or whatever.
Maybe
what you not probably if it's knowing. I don't know what Father Ross is going to talk about, but I know
it's the theme is covenant.
Yes, I was going to say I think it's probably kind of on some things that unite us.
Yeah.
As peoples and different things. So I know Father Ross is all about that.
Yeah. So it's open. So if you want to join, I know I've already put it in my books. I think it'll be awesome. I mean, you really think about it, our history in the Catholic Church and as Christians starts with the Jewish people.
It very well argue it comes from.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing more beautiful than celebrating a Passover Seder with the Jewish people. I mean, and then you come every Sunday and you see it. You see, it's there every week.
Yeah.
Just and all the traditions, the reading of the word, that they do that. I mean, they open the Torah and they read. So
that was something Pope Benedict talked about a lot.
Yeah.
During his papacy was that, that unity.
Jesus, gave us all the layout of what we do based on what he grew up with, and he was a Jew. So
yes, he was.
We have to remember that sometimes that they're not different; they're just our beginning.
Yeah, and I mean some of the, I'm excited. I'm really excited to hear Rabbi Rabbi Murray come and speak to us. I can't wait to learn from him. He's got a great sense of humor, and it's awesome. And I loved the description of the meeting that they just had because it was Michael DeSanctis, our OCIA leader, one of them, and then Father Ross and Rabbi Murray. So I'm like, it's a bad joke. Michael DeSanctis walks into a parish center with a priest and a rabbi. So there we go.
Or it sounds like anything that Jonathan Dallas Jenkins does with The Chosen, and he gets the history and everything to get it all right too.
Exactly. So. We're going to wrap up with this. The final page is a paper calendar. It says revised, and there are still more revisions that we probably could do as we, wrap our minds around everything that we have going on at St. Jude's. But something that Father Ross, we just had a brief meeting over lunch today, and he made a really good point that I'll just quick mention here. We want and need everyone in our parishes, of St. Jude, the Apostle, and San Esteban, to realize the magnitude of everything that these parishes have to offer, because it is so much. There are so many things happening and so much going on, in things that maybe are repeats of each other or things that are going on at the same time that are similar, but also just so many events and ministering to so many different people in so many different ways. And Father Ross was like, we really need to pray, but also come together to support each other in all of these things. So that's kind of what's coming down the pipe a little bit. as we move towards Advent. I think this kind of unity message, like we're really trying to come together with stuff. So don't be afraid to look at the calendar, to see an event, to see a ministry. If you see a need, whatever it is, go to the Holy Spirit and ask Jesus, am I the answer to that prayer? Am I the person that you would like to fill that role? And if you don't feel capable or adequate, Jesus does not call the equipped. He equips the called. So don't be afraid. And then also, we kind of started our pre-podcast chat with this quote from Mother Teresa. But God did not call us to be successful. He called us to be faithful. So if there's something that you are feeling and all this stuff, I just really encourage you to kind of echo Father Ross from earlier, but look at the big picture and just see where God is calling you right now. Not necessarily 5 years from now, not from 5 years ago, but right now, what is God calling you to do to draw closer to Him and to participate in the life of the church?
Yeah. Something that I hear from one of the parishioners is like, I feel that I am not totally prepared to serve. And I want to share the sentence that we have here. Saints are welcome, sinners too. And we are in the second group. And we are here. We are not perfect. We are not totally ready. We are not totally educated or prepared. But we are here with our mistakes, with our sins. So you don't need to be perfect to participate in the life of church. So all of you are welcome. And we are open for everybody.
Amen.
Amen.
I think we'll leave it at that. That was great. Erika, it's really good to have you on the podcast. Look forward to many more episodes. This is awesome because this is like more ladies on the podcast than the guys. This is great. This is good for us, I think. Good for Sara anyway. All right. Know that we love you and we're praying for you, and God bless. How would you say God bless in Espanol?
Dios te bendiga.
All right, there you have it.
See you next time.